Greetings from the art room. It's Miss A back again. We have our finished sculpture for the wall. We made an initial plaque. We raised up the letter of our name. We made a background. We rolled out a flat piece of clay. We put a texture in the clay. There are holes in it. So when it comes out of the kiln the next time, we can actually put a hanger on it so we can put it on the wall. First thing you need to know is that if you drop this, it will break and you won't have a project anymore. When we're painting it today, we're not going to paint the back, because if you paint the back and then I put this in the oven, it could melt onto the floor of our kiln. And our kiln is called, is the clay oven. That's what it's called. So today you can get up to 3 colors. You're gonna be really careful with this. I wouldn't do a lot of picking it up. You can pick 2 different brushes. I picked a smaller brush and a larger brush. I recommend painting the letter first and then painting the background. So you're gonna paint this glaze on 3 times and it dries really quickly. So I'm gonna start with my brush and I'm gonna start painting on the glaze. So you will have to hold this up to paint the sides of your letter. Right here, you wanna be really careful not to get glaze on the background if you're trying to do it a different color than the background. Yep, so just be really careful. Take your time. Here we go. I'm gonna do my A orange, and the color that the glaze is right now, it's gonna change a little bit when it gets in the kiln. It's going to turn really bright and shiny and glossy. Okay, so you can paint your letter all one color. You could do multiple colors. You could put layers on top. You could do designs. So that's up to you. So I would just make sure you get in this crease of your A. Just be really careful and take your time. Okay, so let's pretend like my A is completely painted 3 times. So once it's dry, you're gonna start to paint it a second time, let it dry again, and then you're gonna paint it a 3rd time. Okay, so I'm gonna clean out my brush with water. Then you can start on the background part. Now remember, you're not glazing the back, but you can glaze the side right here. So again, just be really careful. Okay. And then the top, taking your time. So let's say you left like a couple little white areas like that and you didn't glaze it. Just to let you know, that would not turn colors in the kiln. So you want to make sure you paint the whole thing 3 times. So I'd paint this area once, let it dry, put on a 2nd coat, let it dry, then put on a 3rd coat. You can also paint in the hole. You just want to make sure that your glaze doesn't completely cover that hole. So we want to leave that open like that. Okay, so we're gonna pretend like this is totally done. I glazed the sides, I glazed the top, and I glazed my A for my name 3 times. So glaze is the name of the paint that we're using. In ceramics, it's not called paint, it's called glaze. So I just wanted to show you a couple of things you can do if you wanna get creative. So you could do something called splatter painting. So let's pretend like this is my project. I could paint a layer, right, of color. Then I could do color on top. So I'm gonna do a little black, okay? And you're gonna tap. And you can do some splatter painting if you want to. That could be a glazing technique. So there's splatter painting that you could try to do. If you try to do this, you just wanna do it gently so that you don't get glaze on somebody else's project. You could also just paint layers. So I could do, maybe I'll do a blue layer and let that dry. And then I could paint designs on top if I wanted to, right? So I could do dotted line if I wanted. I could paint like a little heart if I wanted to on my sculpture. So that's up to you. But have fun and take your time. If they don't get done today, that's all right.